news station. This is NECN News Now.
Good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us here. I'm Bridget Blythe.
And I'm Justin Michaels in for Steve Avison today.
Now to that hockey hit that could land one Massachusetts high schooler in court.
Back to you.
All right, Scott Yunt live in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Thank you for that report.
All right, so it's money, politics, and the fight for those all-important middle-class votes.
Earlier today, Republican Senator Scott Brown and his likely Democratic challenger Elizabeth Warren each releasing several years' worth of tax returns.
Turning to weather now, take a look at this bit of spring snow. It fell this morning in New England, right up there in Duxbury, Vermont. And let's bring in meteorologist Nellie Carreño. Nellie, the snow's up there, but the wind is down here. It's windy out there.
Yeah, you're right. You know, we just got a little bit of flurries coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Nellie, thanks a lot. And for your forecast anytime, download that free NECN weather app. You can do it for your iPhone, your iPad, or your Android device. Well, new this afternoon, a man from Grantham, New Hampshire has been arrested in connection with his wife's murder. Natalie Perello was found by police dead inside the couple's home on Docks Drive last Thursday night. They say she'd been shot several times. Now, James Perello, he is charged with second-degree murder and is scheduled to be arraigned today. Their 4 young children, they were home at the time, but thankfully they were not physically hurt. And the search for a missing Massachusetts toddler in Rockport has been called off. State police have suspended their search for 2-year-old Callie-Ann Harrison, saying it has provided no clues as to what could have happened to that little girl. Interviews by police cleared known sex offenders in that area. And is there new evidence in the investigation into missing toddler Ayla Reynolds up there in Maine? Well, police are analyzing some new items found at the former Hathaway Mill in Waterville near the Kennebec River. Authorities won't say what those items are, but they do say they don't know if they are related to the Ayla Reynolds case. The toddler was reported missing from her father's home in December.
The death of a woman in New Hampshire being investigated as suspicious.
Well, despite being part of New England, most people in Connecticut prefer rooting for that baseball team in the Bronx. According to a Quinnipiac University poll, the New York Yankees remain Connecticut's favorite team over the Red Sox. 43% of Connecticut fans cheer for the Yankees, and 38% back the Red Sox. But the Sox do have an edge with older fans. It's the 4th straight year that the people of Connecticut picked the Yankees over the Sox.
It could be meant as quite Osama, forget Osama, whatever you wanted it to be.
What did you want it to be?
Let's not go there.
Okay, he's laughing now, but he is upset over the ban of what he considered to be a patriotic license plate. And you're not going to believe the replacement plate that the state of Virginia sent instead.
And take a look at that. Another one this week. The Space Shuttle Enterprise takes a moment to see those sights in New York City. Well, after a surge at the end of last year, U.S. economy growth has slowed slightly. The latest figures from the Commerce Department show the economy grew 2.2% in the first quarter of 2012. Now, that compared to the 3% growth rate for the final quarter of 2011. But that number is expected to rebound. Experts predict economic growth to level off at 3% for the entire year of 2012. Well, today in Washington, Democrats and Republicans are trying to reach an agreement to keep student loan interest rates at 3.4%. The interest rate is scheduled to double on July 1st. Republicans want to pay for this bill with cuts from President Obama's health care law, while Democrats, of course, they have a different idea, calling for higher payroll taxes from some companies. And the House votes on this Republican bill later today.
There are new allegations of inappropriate behavior involving members of the Secret Service.
Well, there are growing concerns today over possible threats against the United States, and it's all because of the 1-year anniversary of Osama bin Laden's death. Officials continue to reiterate no credible threats have been made against our country, but there has been recent al-Qaeda chatter in Yemen. Bin Laden was killed in his Pakistani compound on May 2nd of last year. Meantime, bin Laden's 3 widows and his children have been deported back to Saudi Arabia from Pakistan. Pakistani authorities detained bin Laden's wives and children immediately after the pre-dawn raid that left the al-Qaeda leader dead. The 3 women were sentenced to 45 days in prison for living in the country illegally. Their prison term ended earlier last month.
Back in the U.S.
We're going to turn gears now, switching to weather. Of course, Nellie's standing over there in front of that big green wall. It looks like a map to you, but I promise it's a wall.
It is.
It's big and
a
green
wall.
It's windy, right?
The reason why I can never wear green.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, it is very windy out there.
All right, back here today, the NFL Draft resumes tonight at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. The Patriots have just 2 second-round picks left after making some big trades in round 1. New England traded up to select Syracuse defensive end Chandler Jones with the 21st pick. The Pats then traded up to the 25th pick and drafted Alabama linebacker Dante Hightower. And as expected, Andrew Luck went to the Colts with the 1st overall pick, followed by Heisman winner Robert Griffin III going to the Redskins in the number 2 spot. And the Browns drafted Alabama running back Trent Richardson with the 3rd pick.
And the Red Sox looking to make it 5 in a row, sending Daniel Bard to the mound tonight in Chicago.
To the NBA now. The Celtics beat the Bucks to the end of the regular season, but it wasn't enough to clinch the home court advantage against the Hawks in the playoffs. That's because Atlanta beat Dallas last night. The Celtics and the Hawks open their series on Sunday. But Comcast Sportsnet is getting you prepared tonight. Tune in at 7 for the special Celtics playoff preview. And the Celtics playoff run is the topic of today's Voice Your Choice questions. We want to know how long you think it will last. Will the C's lose in the first round of the playoffs? Make it past the first round of the playoffs? Make it past the second round of the playoffs? Win the Eastern Conference Finals? Win the NBA championship? Or make it to the final but lose? To vote, log on to our website, NECN.com. We'll have the results tonight on the Only News at 9.
I want to be positive. Let's go with win the NBA championship.
Well, why would we be anything else but positive?
Right?
Yeah.
Well, there are naysayers out there, but we're going to go with
No.
they're winning it all. There's more news coming up. I'm Bridget Blythe.
Have a great day, everybody.